Hey, greetings and welcome to another episode of the Get Connected AR podcast. We're thankful and grateful for our partners here at Brandon House Culture Center, Arts Absolutely, for hosting us. And I have a special treat for you, a dear friend of mine, Deanna. Thank you for being with us today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Always good to be around you and to learn of all the various different things and ways in which you're kind of engaged and involved. And so let's kind of share and talk about that today. Kind of what's going on in your world as it relates to every Arkansan, 100 families, and all the other names that kind of come out of some of those moments.
Yes, you can definitely say I've got my hands in a little bit of everything right now. I'm the coordinator for the Collective Impact Initiative here, 100 families. And which in that right now we have 900 community partners that are part of our alliance,
Mm-hmm.
much like yourself. I've seen you, we've gotten to work together many times. At this moment, we are currently serving 430 families, and which is well over 1,000 by the time you add spouses and partners and children.
Yeah, and so you're talking specifically just the number of families, and there may be numbers of people in those families, but and
Absolutely.
that's where specifically what county?
It's specifically for Pulaski County.
Okay.
Statewide, I believe we're serving almost 1,800 family units.
So it's a statewide initiative.
It
But
is.
what you're talking about specifically kind of gets us here in Central Arkansas and what's kind of going on there.
Absolutely. We're currently the Model Collective is actually in 19 of our 75 counties across the state. And so what happens is somebody like myself as a coordinator comes into a community, and we don't try to provide every service. We try.
You probably wouldn't be able to, but
There
yeah.
is no way. There's no way any one of us could genuinely help many of the needs our family has. And so what we do is we move into a community and we network, we bring together amazing organizations all throughout the county, and our whole goal is to help a family who's in crisis. We work with them in 13 areas of care, which is anything from housing to employment to mental health and physical health, for both themselves and their children. And we genuinely want to see them, they move from those crisis points in any one of those areas, and we're looking to make sure that they can stabilize, go on and have a career and thrive and genuinely change their whole family unit.
Yeah, and so I know I'm familiar with the name and what kind of that looks like, but I know it sits under one umbrella of something different. And so kind of talk about that and kind of where you sit in that seat, and what that looks like.
For sure. Here in Pulaski County in general, our office, or the backbone of this model, sits inside of every Arkansan,
Okay.
which also houses numerous things that we know, including a inpatient recovery. We have most people usually can understand the term here locally as the Arkansas Dream Center.
Right.
And also, in many ways, our church engagement and warehouse in CityServe.
Right.
And so we've also combined all of that together alongside to help walk alongside. Did that answer?
Yeah. So you kind of bring those various different
We
pieces
do.
up under there, but your specific part
For
kind of
sure.
focuses in around what's called 100 Families, Hope Hub, things of that nature. That's
Absolutely.
kind of created.
The 100 Families Initiative was actually begun as in Fort Smith, actually under Restore Hope. And Restore Hope also helps in initiatives like Smart Justice, in which we're helping individuals with misdemeanor crimes.
Okay.
Also, we have our newly developing, we have Every Child Arkansas, which brings churches and communities together for the purpose of combining together to help adoptive and foster families and thrive in our community.
So we've talked about 100 families, all of the various different things that kind of sit under that, but there's this new initiative that you all have kind of touted that's kind of going around called 1033. So let's talk about what that looks like. What does it look like for the family? What does it look like for the community to engage itself in all of those various different ways?
Absolutely. It was announced, I believe it was right at about 3 weeks ago now, by Governor Sanders, and it's titled 1033, and it's based on Luke 1033 and the Good Samaritan initiative, and how we can do better by expanding and
really serving your neighbor and loving other people well.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. And so much is being built still at the state level. And so we know that we will have a part in it in 3 pilot counties here in Arkansas, and that'll be Pulaski County, Pope County, and Union County. And so that's where it will move through. But right now, there's kind of a calling, there's a sound out to the community and our church partners and our businesses within the community to help get involved in this. And at the same time, what it will essentially...
So when you talk about getting involved and engaged, and I know some have issue or have tried to make issue with reference to why you quoting scripture and things of that nature. And really it's the principle that that the governor and other officials are really looking at, saying, whether you believe in faith or not, the principle yet still applies, that we can love neighbors well to do what's best there.
Absolutely. And that is the premise, is in any neighborhood we go in. I mean, obviously, we've built what we call an alliance here, and it is just that. It's an alliance of service providers, faith providers, nonprofits that are working together for the betterment of individuals and families in our community. What this is going to allow to expand is more access within our community through offices, like state offices, to help connect all of these benefits together, helping individuals reach employment, take care of previous legal issues, and then coming along as that community or as that neighbor to help that individual stabilize and then go on to careers, etc., which in theory reduces the need on government benefits, and it genuinely enlists the ability of our community to serve our people right where they are.
Yeah. And so in some part of that, I know you talked about and called this the alliance. And so many would probably assume, well, if I'm a part of Hope Hub or if I'm a part of some of these other things, maybe I'm already part of the alliance. But am I really? And so how does one become part of the alliance? And then what does that look like? Like, what are you asking of from me? Is that showing up? Is that meeting? Is that just creating opportunities? What are those things that's kind of being asked up there? Or is that still being developed just as well?
Absolutely. There's a few different ways that you can collectively get involved, and I will provide to you. This is actually coming through the governor's office through Megan Worthington, and you can actually, as an organization, reach out there. If you're in the faith, we're also going to combine efforts within Care Portal, which is a organization that helps provide tangible goods throughout the community. And also many of our community engagement, like Every Child Arkansas, which is a movement within to help our child welfare portion, help with foster care, adoption, etc. But this will also allow somebody to come in one of our offices, and maybe you're a warehouse and you have a job, and you regularly have job opportunities. Well, the beauty is you're able to tell us that, hey, I've got 5 openings. And a lot of this will be interfaced with things like our new launch initiative, which brings employers and job seekers all together.
So what some of us would know is the unemployment system, and it's wrongly called that.
Yes.
But it's the system that pretty much is created for people to go out there and find work and things of that nature is what she's talking about when you refer to lunch.
Absolutely. In addition, we'll work through organizations like Workforce, etc., to help with job training, etc. Because if you need 112 welders, let's go ahead and get them trained in those trades, etc. Secondary education, we're connecting all of these people together for not just. It's genuinely not a handout, it's a hand up. And even within our faith community, I previously was on staff at a church, etc. I know how hard benevolence many times, and everybody's asking for something, but this gives you a way to unite together, even within your own community there, to serve not only your own congregation, but also even with a small group of volunteers, you can be helping others in the community and genuinely let them know they're not alone. And so it helps engage all aspects in our community. Now, being part of the Alliance, that's just that. It's like we get together, we have meetings. We have monthly meetings as you've participated. We're also expanding in community committee meetings to expand your voice more in the needs of our community and how we can solve them all together. Because at the end of the day, there's not one of us who can solve any of these big social justice problems together. But if we all come together, we can make a difference, and I have the beautiful opportunity to see that every day.
So the Alliance side of it really is the continuation of what's kind of been happening with some of these different community conversations around crime or youth violence whatever the topic and issue of the day is.
Education.
You
know, all of our big spaces and big needs. We have a lot of things changing in our state, and also we're soon to have even work requirements and volunteer requirements. And so by being able to work together, we're going to meet those needs. And we'll change the landscape of our communities.
So great start there. We have the Alliance, you have 1033, and so 1033 is still sort of kind of being developed. A family's in need right now. What do we do with them? Who do we tell them to contact, and what system do we try to connect them to while these other things are still being developed?
Absolutely. Currently, to connect within this county, you would reach out to our office, but regardless of where you are in the state, you can go to restorehope.io, and you will then be able to connect to all 20 of the offices that are statewide here in Arkansas. Just find your closest community near you, give the office a call. It's what we do is we bring you in, we give you an advocate that'll walk through all of these red tape we see many times. We'll be able to give you those options all together. based on whatever you come in with your needs. And
So-
everyone's a little, and the beauty is it allows us not only to, it's not one way to it, it allows individualization based on the needs of that person's particular need.
And so, is there an eligibility or requirement of sort of who can come into connecting to those various different things, or does it not matter?
At this point, 1033 eligibility will come in, but I imagine that will allow us to serve individuals that qualify. Right now at 100 families, there's been that moment where we can serve families with children, whether they're custodial or non-custodial, from 0 to 18.
Okay.
But this new framework will actually allow us to expand that,
Gotcha.
which means volumes for single individuals.
Yeah, because I mean, it's what's in my office daily. It's those individuals that sometimes they may or may not have kids, one way or the other, that still
Absolutely.
have need of the resources that you all can at least connect them to,
Absolutely.
or the case management piece that's necessary and things of that nature. And so, love for you to kind of talk about the case management and how I'm pretty sure you all have as many as you can, but then there's still more room for that opportunity for individuals, organizations to kind of engage there to be able to kind of serve even more.
Absolutely. So what happens typically, and the beauty is yes, this new space will allow us to go into reentry. We can go into individual services. We can, many times individuals in recovery, well, I don't have kids, but we see that all the time. And that's the heart of why I'm so excited for this, is because we're not leaving anyone behind.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty for me, and I know that for you too. And so, but what we'll do is we'll sit down with an individual, regardless of where they are. That's been the beauty, is our network travels into some of our community partners. I know I've had welcome invites with you more than once, not only to speak, but also to help some of our participants just have that. You are the closest space to reach to.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of what we'll get to continue to do. We'll have more access points. We sit down an individual, we do a very thorough assessment in 13 different areas, which are called our care areas. And just for instance, that could be transportation, employment, housing. And what we do is we connect our individuals in these different care areas, which aren't just that. They're also social determinants of health, if known, stabilize, help lift a family completely out of that space.
Right.
And I hope at one point to work myself out of a job, because everyone's so great and has access to so many services, they don't need me anymore. But our advocates sit down, they do this 13 care area assessment. It takes a couple of hours at that.
But it's really assessing them instead of just...
Yeah, it's sitting down, not just, it's like, who are you and what do you need in your life? Instead of me doing a one cookie cutter, you came in, here's your app, let's use SNAP, for example. Here's your SNAP application. Okay, thanks, we'll give you a call in 7 to 30 days.
Really trying to help them move that needle.
That's it,
for progress.
So that in one office, you can get access to the housing availability in our community. You can get access to numerous employers, because even that, there's not one staffing agency that can serve all needs.
Yeah.
So in that, we have 30 and want to grow that.
Yeah.
The same thing with mental health. They've been in crisis for a while, and sometimes you just need that person to go, hey, you're okay. It's, you're not alone. And as well as making sure they're physically healthy. And so we get to wrap those and more all together based on they're building this alongside us. It's not us telling them what they need to do.
Right.
And that's the beauty.
Yeah,
is
they're getting to
it's-
paint that. Yeah,
They get to paint what they want for their family.
yeah,
And so, and it's that beautiful space. And I think I had told you previously that there's this great moment because when you walk into my office in crisis, sometimes you just need a sandwich.
right.
You know, I need food. Okay, we can do that. And so, and then, but we connect with amazing food pantries, etc. But at the end of the day, you see their hope come back.
Yeah.
Like all they're gonna get's a sandwich when they walk in. It's like, no, no, no. When you get them and they start seeing this work all together, this holistic case management approach, they then start dreaming themselves. That's when they're ready to go back to school. They're ready to, they want to be that wielder. Why? Because they know they can fully support their family on the end. So at the end of the day, they no longer need that collective,
Right.
you know, they don't need that food pantry anymore because they're doing it themselves.
So as we wrap up, oftentimes I think about this. There are many opportunities in the world for us to possibly do. Why this work for you?
Why this worked for me?
Personally, why this particular work? Why not something else?
Well, the why comes in my own story. I remember being in my early 20s, and I found myself homeless due to a pile of other circumstances. And I ended up in a church parking lot wondering, how did I get so off track?
Oh.
I looked in the back seat. My daughter at that time was about 18 months old. And I thought I'd failed as a mother. But what happened for me was a small group of people came, let me sleep on a couch. Yeah. You know, I hate to admit this, but I applied for jobs and got this job interview, and they hired me, and I said I knew all these programs and how to operate all these systems. And then in reality, I just went to the library and just dove in all the weekend before so that I actually had some kind of clue. Somebody helped me get access to childcare. Somebody helped me get back on my feet. Yeah. And that was it in my life. That was the point I realized a handful of people working together can change the world in a life. Wow. I mean, I'm only here today because of those handful of people that were there then for me. And so that's my why.
Wow.
I have to give it back to others.
Wow. Deanna, thank you
Absolutely.
for what you do. Contact information, how do people get in contact with you?
Absolutely. You can call the 100 Families of Pulaski County office inside of Every Arkansan at 501-500-0377.
Awesome. Once again, thank you. Get connected to AR. Of course, you've heard about all things, kind of Every Arkansan, 100 Families, Hope Hub, and the new initiative 1033. And so hopefully you'll go plug in there, see what that's all about. And until next time, y'all be blessed.